that a water line was hit.
Right.
Well, the water line can be a main,
Right.
or it can be the service line that goes to the
Right.
house.
Right.
Yeah.
So I went down there with my dog, and he deduced that there's a new driveway. There's a little flag in the driveway
Yeah.
where it probably marks a curb stop.
Right.
They probably were digging and hit the service line to the house,
Yeah, that makes sense.
needed the water shut off,
Yeah.
called the water operator directly.
Yeah.
The water operator came, we don't know which date. The email from the water operator asking for a work order was on June 11th.
Yeah.
We don't know what day this happened.
I think it was the same day.
Could be the same day,
Yeah, that would make sense.
could be after. Then we got this on the 14th. The commissioners got it on the 14th. So, now we have to chase someone to pay the bill, and that would be the homeowner, not the contractor.
Not the contractor who
Right.
actually ruptured the line?
We don't know from the water operator what line got hit. My dog is assuming it's the service line to the house, which I buy into.
Okay.
But we don't know that for sure because the water operator didn't tell us that.
Another answer we need from him. But if it's the line going to the house, then it's the homeowner's responsibility?
Yes.
But if it's actually something, if it's out on the road or something, it's our,
If it's the water main to
Assets.
the curb stop, it's ours.
okay,
But the contractor shouldn't have been digging near our water main.
Correct.
exactly.
That's
So he'd
against
be
the law.
responsible, right.
So we're working off assumptions here to a degree. Now, the other thing that comes up is, I think what Jennifer's pointing out is that she doesn't have any permit, any application to be doing this driveway work in the first place.
I didn't see anything.
Oh, so there's several issues here.
I don't
Yes.
think
There's
Nancy saw
the
anything.
driveway permit, there's also the fact that there was no,
There's no inspection that I know of. I don't really know.
Now, the driveway actually slopes away from the lot, so the driveway itself wasn't a big concern.
Okay.
But the fact that they were digging without doing, they were digging because they were doing driveway work,
Right.
including drainage,
right,
apparently. They hit their own service line, maybe. What the facts are here are, the water operator has notified us that they want a work order for work they have already done, which they're not describing to us, that we have to pay. And now we have to chase someone to pay this bill, so the water users aren't paying for
Right,
this.
and they're contacting Simply Water directly, they're not even, I mean, I understand the urgency of, you broke a water line, you need someone to come in and shut
We don't
it
want
off.
to delay that,
okay.
but it should come through us
Right.
first. So it's interesting how, well, the contractor knows the water operator's number evidently.
Mhm.
And even the consumer confidence report tells everybody the phone number of the water operator. So we gotta focus on the fact that there was no permit to do this work. And
What did they do?
And find out which line was severed or
We don't know.
ruptured.
No, we don't know anything really.
If all they did was re-gravel,
Redesign, or,
if they redesigned or changed the way it comes into the street, it needs a permit.
yeah,
If they did new gravel across the driveway.
just to make it look better,
to make it look better, it's maintenance.
yeah.
This is something that, I've been looking at this area, and I think there's a couple of things in here that we might wanna, probably in a month, when we're done with a lot of the driveway stuff, take
Clarify
a
the
look
ordinance.
Tweak.
at the ordinance, because it clearly says that, maintenance is the property owners.
Property owners.
But
You know?
there's another other thing that's rising up out of this that maybe apply here. And we've already voted to pay money for this problem that shouldn't be our problem.
Mhm.
And that is the curb stops in driveways. We just went through paying for 3 work orders, or voting for 3 work orders to fix curb stop valve covers that are bent over. That's gonna cost us significant money. The water users are paying significant money to have curb stops fixed in people's driveways, that if they were installed properly in the first place, nobody would be having this problem. So here's a case that they're showing a flag in this driveway that just needed maintenance. And somehow they hit their own service line that
Right.
caused us to be involved. Whether we end up paying for it or not, we're expending resources, our time right now,
Correct,
because of the way the system is working.
right,
We don't want this to happen again.
right, that's why I said, I'm thinking, and
So,
by the end of the summer, we're gonna be looking at some potential changes to the driveway ordinance to clarify
It's
some
your
of the maintenance
responsibility,
things.
right.
okay, so look at it this way. If this is just maintenance, because they aren't changing the driveway, they're just fixing the surface of the driveway, and it
Right.
slopes away from the hill, there's not a problem with this. They still hit their water line.
Mhm.
And we should be in the business of inspecting so that we get a chance to fix problems with exposed curb stops being affected by somebody just doing maintenance on their driveway, or even just plowing their driveway.
Yeah.
This is our opportunity to say, you need to change the driveway so that this curb stop isn't in danger.
But who's gonna call the office and say, oh, I'm just having some gravel reset in my,
If the ordinance says that you have to file an application,
Correct,
then we know.
correct,
just to have gravel brought
Yep.
in?
It gives us
yep, it'll give us a
an
chance,
opportunity to go out and inspect everything.
right,
Oh, boy,
right,
okay.
No, and it may not be it may not be a $75,
correct,
Why not?
but for $75 for somebody to go out and inspect and
going
write a
out and
report.
inspecting it, right.
Right.
right,
So we're on your subject, we're on your commissioner's report. I agree that we
Yeah.
need to,
I think
Yeah.
we need to
Review
get
the
in through
ordinance.
that entire area of the driveway ordinance
Yeah,
and make some changes and some clarifications.
I think as this summer continues and you keep diving into this stuff, we're gonna learn more things that we would like to discuss.
Yeah, I got 3 or 4 different spots already marked for, to review moving forward, that just the way the wording is in the driveway ordinance,
Okay.
So,
Another thing, before you move on, these driveways that are sloping heavily into the road with no negative grade, would you say that they should be inspected even if they're just doing maintenance of the surface? That we get a chance to see this driveway is just
right.
horrendous, like we
Yeah,
saw in Jungfrau.
I think we're kind of all saying that we want to see some type of permit process for maintenance.
Okay,
So that we get a chance to look at it. And we are aware of times where maintenance
Turns in.
has, okay, in this case, it hit the curb stop. But there's other times where there was some maintenance done, and they flared the end of the driveway onto the road. So now the entrance into the road is wider than the ordinance allows. And it was quote unquote maintenance.
Yeah.
So that is something where I definitely think we need to get into
Okay.
rearranging how
So-
we're gonna do the permitting process so that we do get to look at things like that before people go ahead and do things like that. One of them got it closer to the pin,
Right.
which,
So I think our argument to the homeowner who wants to do any sort of driveway maintenance, and which is a value proposition to the taxpayers of the Village District of Eidelweiss, that any driveway maintenance, no matter how small, requires a permit and an inspection.
that will require a public hearing after we have decided how we want to produce
produce changes.
No,
changes
no, I
to
get,
the
I get that.
driveway.
We have to
Or-
do that for changing the ordinance, but what I just said, that's the way we'd like to see it, that
Yes.
anything.
As of today, that's the direction that we're agreeing on to go.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
way I think
Yes.
we're all saying we wanna see this,
Right,
yes.
but to change the ordinance, we sell it to the taxpayers that this is a value thing to you, you know? It may be
Oh,
just-
yeah.
Might be just a small thing on your driveway, but we need to know so it doesn't impact the roads and impact the taxpayers.
Correct. Correct, because they're all paying for the road,
Absolutely,
and,
it's their money.
Oh, no.
Okay, I think we're
okay?
Okay.
So-
totally on the same page there.
Yep, so the couple other things I had, a check for a water hookup for 22 Hotwell, or whatever its
Or burn.
burn is gonna be, has been received. We can hold that for another couple weeks until we have a new account, or we can simply just put it into the,
Water assessment account?
water
First.
assessment account for right now. But we have not voted to send it to Nick,
Which one?
22 Hutwell,
I thought we
with
did.
access on burn.
We haven't sent anything.
We haven't sent it to Nick yet,
Okay, so,
so we need to send it to Nick.
Nick who? Wow.
Nick's schedule,
the,
to make sure that there's enough pressure.
Oh, yes, right, to find out if they
Yes.
can handle being hooked up.
Yes,
so we know about that contractor wanting to put the water line under the culvert that he's installing on Burn. And he called me directly. And I put a call into Nick asking where that was in his queue. And didn't hear back from him.
I see.
because he doesn't have the application yet. We have to get the application to Nick.
The water application that we have?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Yikes. Okay.
So how are we moving forward with this?
Make a motion to send the information for the water hookup for 22 Hutwell to Nick's schedule for engineering and to make sure that we're gonna have the proper pressure.
Second.
Discussion here, and just sit on the check, don't do anything with it till we have an answer
Till we have a
to
new
it.
account. Or decide whatever the answers are gonna be.
Okay. Do we know usually how long that takes to get an answer, whether this is doable or not doable from Nick?
Oh, no, I'm not, that's a separate issue. I thought you were talking about the bank account, not whether or not there's enough pressure.
No, I'm saying we have the option of just not depositing the check until we find out.
That's dangerous.
That's dangerous, okay.
It's very dangerous. You don't want a $10,000 check sitting around.
We had one of those happen before, years and years and years ago.
Yeah,
It's not
and it
good.
got found in a file 3 or 4 years after I started.
Okay. Answer my question, I just thought if they can't hook up, here's your check back, no.
No.
Okay, fine, got it. I'm good with that.
But the primary motion is to get the information to Nick for the engineering.
Right,
I wonder if he really needs to do a modeling when it's not up on a hill. It's usually the ones that are higher elevations that,
It's in the Como zone. It definitely needs to be modeled
because of the flow
because of the flow.
and because you live there.
No, it has nothing to do with whether or not I live there.
Okay. Very good. So we voted that, right?
So,
no,
no, not yet.
Is this a discussion?
I had my discussion, so
Okay.
aye.
3-0?
okay.
3-0.
Okay. Now-
I'll call him again and tell him that he hasn't got the thing yet.
Yeah, and it also brings up the same thought process for future water hookups. I think Jennifer should be allowed
To send
to
them.
send them
Okay.
upon receipt to the engineer, to Nick, with a copy to us so that we all know it's coming. And then that way there won't be that delay of the application's been there for a few weeks and we haven't discussed it in a public meeting yet to
Right.
send it to the engineer.
And paying the engineer for doing the modeling for each hookup should actually come out of the hookup money,
Yes?
which I'm not sure it does.
Oh, well, it will start and move, moving forward.
It does,
Does it?
Oh, okay.
but I'm wondering if there's any kind of a spreadsheet with all these hookups progress going through. I think that would be very helpful. Like this person, we have the check,
Right,
deposited the check.
There is some kind of worksheet that I found.
Oh,
Right.
Good.
right, we'll have
So
that.
it's a quick one sheet, you know, you can see
It
everything
is,
at a
it's
glance.
not, I don't think it's got like a lot of detail.
Well, you can modify it any way you want,
Yeah,
whatever
right.
but-
works for you and the rest of us.
This is the dashboard I've been talking
So,
about.
okay, so if they determine there can be no hookup, so it's they get their 10,000 back minus whatever the fee is for
Right.
having done the,
Right,
okay.
I'll call you tomorrow, Jennifer.
Sure.
I gotta head out.
Historically, we have given them back the 10,000.
No, if it's gonna cost us money to,
It cost us money on 22 Hotwell,
If-
22 Aspen, and
it costs
We pay
$200
back
to do
the
this thing,
10.
they get 9,800 back. You know, that's,
that's not what we did with the last one.
no,
I know, but that's what we
At
should
all.
do going forward.
Then we'd have to
but we
write it
didn't have an
into the
engineer
ordinance.
come
Right.
in, it was,
Okay,
It
that's
was
gonna be an
simply
ordinance
water
change?
then.
Yes, that would be a water ordinance change.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
How did that escape?
It got talked about several times and
Yeah.
nobody did anything about it.
All right.
Right. Okay, so as far as, it just got mentioned, as far as the logs and stuff go, we did find a driveway log, which is spectacular. I was very excited when I saw it on the desk. And I've added the new ones. One of the things I noticed is currently, any driveway that has been permitted on any level since 2019 has a driveway permit number that starts with 2019. There's some benefits to that, in that we know how many driveways have been put in the last 5 years, by looking at the bottom number, or you can break them up by each year. I always broke them up annually, so that you knew each ones that came in 2024. So this is just gonna be something we're resetting a process for how we wanna see this stuff. Do we wanna continue with the 2019 numbering moving forward, or do we wanna stay with, 2020